When it comes to immigration in Canada, Quebec actually has a lot of power to decide how it's handled. Unlike other provinces, Quebec has a say in who it wants to take in and what criteria immigrants need to meet.
What I hope really is that all the leaders accept our demands, accept especially to reduce by 50% the number of temporary immigrants controlled by them.
Even with all the power that Quebec already has, the federal government policies are crucial. Under the Canada-Quebec Accord, both levels of government have a role to play in immigration. But ultimately, the federal government has the final say on who can enter the country as an immigrant. So what is on the table this election? The Liberals say they would maintain caps on immigration until it determines that Canada has the capacity to receive more newcomers. The Conservatives promised to reduce the number of non-permanent residents in Quebec and would grant the province more powers to choose temporary immigrants. The Bloc Québécois wants the provincial government to have total control over immigration and immigration levels. The NDP has not set a target on immigration, but says levels need to match Canada's needs and take into account whether Canada has enough resources to welcome newcomers. The Green Party would coordinate immigration levels with the provinces and set targets based on Canada's capacity to welcome newcomers. The People's Party of Canada would accept fewer refugees, temporary foreign workers, and students in favor of economic immigrants. How does this affect you? If you are an immigrant, that might be obvious. But if you are not, immigration policies impact everything from goods and services to healthcare. Ensuring we have enough people to do those jobs is a real concern. Quebec business leaders say for every 10 workers that leave the labor market, only 8 are coming back. So instead of growing the workforce, it's shrinking with each retirement, and our birth rate is dropping.
So we have to know that in terms of the province's economic growth, this is mostly due to immigration on the labor market. If there were no immigrants, then there wouldn't be any growth. That would be very difficult.
To address the labor shortage, we saw a few years ago the Liberal government loosened the guidelines for temporary foreign workers, which led to a spike in immigration. In 2023, Quebec saw a record number of immigrants, 217,600. The majority were temporary immigrants. That prompted concern from the provincial government, who are responsible for ensuring these people have access to things like doctors, schools, and housing.
In the last few years, the population growth was abnormal for Quebec and Canada. We lost control of certain programs of immigration, so there was a need to regain control.
So the challenge for the next Prime Minister is to make sure immigration doesn't become too much of a burden on the provinces.
So whatever the economic is, even if we have a slowdown, if we have a prosperity, these cycles must not bring us to forget that we still have an aging population and we will need a fair amount of immigration, economic immigration in the next years.
So what's best for Quebec? The Premier wants full power over immigration and the admission criteria. But it's up to you, the voters, to decide which party's plan would best serve the country in the future.